Hi, besties. This is your Psychic Besties Podcast, a show dedicated to people like us who are spiritual but not saints. We're Alana and Allison, two psychic millennials with over 20 years combined knowledge and experience to help guide you on your spiritual path. You can follow us on Instagram at your Psychic Besties Pod. Thanks for listening.
Hi guys, welcome to your Psychic Besties podcast. This is a brand new episode where we are going to teach you all about dating and relationships and how to date intuitively.
And answer all of your questions that you sent us about dating.
All right, so without further ado, let's get started. We are going to pick a question. We have all of the questions here that you guys asked us on our social media posts. We polled you guys. We wanted to know what you wanted to know and what you wanted to hear. We are all about serving you, the people.
Can I just say this is our first episode that we're recording together live, and it's so exciting and I love it.
Live IRL.
Yeah. Okay. All right. First question. Okay. Shift of men acting like girls and bring back men being men. Okay. So is that a question? I mean, yes, that's something we've noticed. So something about dating. So I'm coming from the perspective of I have been married for 8 years and been with my husband for 10. So I've been out of the dating world for myself for a while. But I do a lot of love readings. I have a lot of friends that are single, divorced, dating, never been married, second marriage, all that. So I hear all of the things about the current dating world. And that is definitely one of the big things. It's like the men are almost becoming the women in the situation. Now we're talking about heterosexual straight people, you know, men and women, like that type of relationship, because that's what we're hearing a lot about as having issues. So men nowadays they're wanting to be chased. They're wanting to be validated. Do I have an answer for how to solve that? No, I think it's the men that we're choosing, even though it is a lot of the men right now. They're not all like that. And you can say that.
So what I want to add is what you allow or what you accept is what you will receive. And there has been a big shift with us as women really stepping into our soft feminine era, your divine feminine era. And what that means is this. What that means is exactly, we're not the men. So if we don't act like men, so to speak, with that alpha energy, for example, like we're not asking men to go out, we're not chasing,
we're not pursuing them.
Hard no. We're not pushing and forcing. We're not texting, calling, and not getting a response. First of all, that lowers your vibration. And second of all, if you do things that are masculine, so to speak, right? Or things that typically the guy would do, if you're doing that, you're not giving the guy a chance to do that. So again, it's really about just channeling your soft girl era, like, right? It's divine feminine season. So again, those things, no chasing, no pushing and forcing. Again, if a guy is not asking you out, or
if they wanted to, they would.
Exactly. If they're not asking you out, or if they're not calling you, bye, thank you, next.
Okay, so my friend
We're not chasing them, right?
My friend Lauren told me a really long time ago, I think I was probably in high school, and she was like, I never ever text or call first. So that's something that really stuck with me. It's like, I am not going to be the one to reach out to you. So I have a funny story about that, actually. So when I was dating Teo, my husband, we were just like newly dating, and he was like, BRB, I'm getting a haircut. 7 days passed where, first of all, he's bald. What kind of a haircut are you getting?
I'm dead.
He did not.
Mind you, this is her husband.
This is my husband now, right? But did not call me, did not text me for 7 days. Did I reach out to him? No, I didn't. Because if he wanted to talk to me, he would have responded to me after the haircut, or 2 to 5 to 7 days later. And I think it was actually a week later where he finally reached out, and I acted like I didn't even notice that I hadn't talked to him. So for me, that's what had worked in the past in my dating world. I am not saying, where have you been? Why didn't you reach out to me? Calling them, chasing them. It's like I'm sitting back and waiting for them to want to talk to me, because I don't want to talk to you if you don't want to talk to me.
Exactly.
You know how to use your phone.
Exactly.
So
no desperate energy, know your worth. When you truly know your worth and you don't give people discounts, I know that's cliche, but what that means is you are not desperate. You're not chasing anyone. Again, like, you know what you have to offer. And if someone is not chasing you, so to speak, then guess what? Why would you want someone that doesn't want you?
you don't.
Exactly. Or why would you accept somebody that isn't coming forward and showing up for you the way that you want? Again, you don't.
Right. Are their fingers broken? Have they been in a tragic accident? They have access to their phone. They can use it if they want to. Okay. So just keep that in mind.
Listen, after 7, you're better than me, because 7 business days, we would have a funeral. He must be dead. We would have a funeral.
I just acted like I didn't notice.
We would be in the morgue. He must have died.
I'm so busy that I didn't even notice that we hadn't spoken. So
yeah.
That's just what it is. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
All right. Love bombing versus good intentions. This is a good one. So, love bombing. Love bombing is
a narcissistic tendency.
Yes, and that is coming in too hard, too strong, and
too fast.
Too fast. And the thing is, back to trusting your intuition and gauging that. Yes, we just said, you want a man.
You meet a guy and they're acting like they're in love with you. Like, what exactly? I don't know.
Okay,
I haven't been loved all recently.
I mean, I usually don't let people get that far.
Okay.
So again, trust your intuition, right? 9 out of 10 times you'll know if someone is being genuine, right? Or if somebody is just love bombing you. Love bombing is this. Love bombing is doing the most too fast, too soon. But again, with narcissistic tendencies.
A disingenuous kind of a way.
Sociopathic, where it's like, I'm going to hook you and then fuck you.
Right.
And that's
not in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what we want. We want somebody that, yes, buys flowers, does all the things, calls, texts, does what they say that they're going to do. But again, I want to say the difference, besides, again, trusting your intuition, because if somebody's disingenuine, like, you'll know,
right.
Is, okay, so somebody with good intentions is going to ask you questions. What are your favorite kind of flowers? Right? What kind of restaurants do you like? What don't you eat? What's your work schedule like?
Right.
And then do something with intention.
Right. They're showing a genuine interest in you first, and the love bombing isn't just to draw attention to themselves, like, oh my God, wow, he's so great. It's like, wow, he really took the time to see what I like. Right. And not just making it about themselves. So I think that's where using your intuition comes in. Like, how does that feel? Does it feel phony, or does it feel like warm and fuzzy? And I know that we could get excited when we're getting this attention, but that's where we have to use our intuition to know if it's genuine or not.
Right. And like I said, that is, for me at least, the difference, right? And how you can spot like genuine intentions, because the actions might be the same. For example, like getting flowers sent to work. That might be a result of someone love bombing you, but that also might be a result of somebody with good intentions. So
it's tricky.
Again, it's really the intention behind what they're doing. If they're asking you questions, genuine questions about yourself. Narcissists, which is associated with love bombing, they're not asking you shit because they don't really care. They don't want to know about you. It's what they can do for you, right? Where it's like they're going to do all these things with the intention of you falling in love with them, or the intention
on themselves.
Exactly. Telling everybody, oh my God, this guy's so great. Look what he did. It has nothing to do with you. So that's, again, how you can like use your discernment, right? Are they asking you genuine questions about yourself with the actions or not? Because if not, then you're being love bombed.
I saw this really funny video on Instagram, and it was like what guys do right before they ghost you, and it was like they're telling you about their childhood, they're making plans for the future, and it's like it seems like, oh wow, this is going somewhere, and then they ghost you. And that's the difference with the love bombing, because with genuine intentions, it's to build a foundation to go somewhere, but with the love bombing, it's like they're just doing it for their own ego almost.
Right. And I honestly think that's the determining factor. Are they asking you genuine questions? Like, do they want to know about you? Do they want to know about your childhood, your family, about you as a person? Like, this shit is deep. Like, if you don't want to know me and my soul inside out, like, this isn't going to work.
That's a green flag. when they're asking you questions about yourself on like more than a superficial level. Send me nudes. It's like, what are you really into? What happened as
how was your day? And somebody that really wants to know. Or then you tell them something about your day and they're like, okay, so they want to know more. That's how you know if you're getting love bombed or not. Somebody that asks you questions, that's genuine.
Okay, so you obviously are more recent in the dating world, so you'll have more experience. So what is like a really big red flag, like early on in the communication, you think? Like when you guys are just texting, like what's like, run, yikes, don't continue this any further?
I mean, I can like sit here for days with a list.
How much time do you have?
But I want to say inconsistency. Okay. And weird communication. Okay. And not doing what you say you're going to do.
Like canceling plans and stuff
just
like that?
Back to inconsistency. Okay. If you're looking to get to know someone or move forward with someone, or you're evolved enough, because that's the thing. A lot of times we place expectations on somebody, or somebody, again, we feel disappointed when somebody wants a relationship, but they're not capable of being in a relationship because they're all the way fucked up themselves. Right? So again, you need to be healed. The person needs to be healed before you can be in a healthy relationship or engage in a healthy connection, whatever that is. But yeah, definitely inconsistency. I'm sorry. That is the worst thing that you can do, is be inconsistent. Like you can show up like hard, but if the next day,
so that's
nobody hears from you. Like if you're MIA the next day, like automatically turns off.
Immediately no.
Done.
Okay. Next question. Okay, red flags. We just literally just answered this. Okay. Well, do you have any more red flags? Like what do you think besides inconsistency? Like what do you think is something, because this seems to be a common problem. Like we're not recognizing the red flags.
I have one.
Okay.
Back to communication. This falls under that umbrella. So, and this actually happened to somebody that I know. She was like, so this guy like kept mentioning his ex.
Oh God, yeah.
And like, if you on a first date, second date, whatever, like, no, listen, men, if you're around, ladies, if he's talking about his ex, run for the hills. Guys, don't talk about your ex. If you're talking about your ex, that means you still want her, and don't do that. I don't know why men, why haven't men been told this a long time ago?
I don't know, but it's like the quickest way to dry that vagina right up is like hearing you talk about your ex. I'm sorry. No one wants
inconsistency.
Yeah.
Dry.
Okay, Sahara. Okay, next. You want to go?
Yep. Okay, this is a question with two parts.
We know the person that sent this one, so it's a little funny.
What even is dating? That is a great question. So dating is, in my opinion, women date, we're creatures of nature, right? Like we date with the intention of finding a man, finding a husband, reproducing, all of those things, right? Dating is looking to connect with a male that you can ride into the sunset with, right? That you can start a family with, that you can have a relationship with, whatever it is that you want. But that's the common denominator here.
Okay, so this is a good segue into like how dating has changed so much. So this is something that I noticed doing my love readings and, talking to girls about this all the time. There's no like claiming anymore. Like people don't even follow each other on Instagram and social media, and they've been dating for 6 months. Like it's very weird out here. Like there's never
it's very weird out here
publicly. Like they don't talk about it. People don't know that they're together. So that's like what dating has kind of become on a low vibrational way.
And also, let's talk about somebody else that we know that messages like 5, 6, 7 girls, like all in the same friend group.
That's happening.
That's so weird. And like also the hey, what's up culture that comes out of like social media, dating apps, like we're not doing that. Hey, what's up? Again, also Sahara.
Blocked.
Hey, what's up? Nobody wants, like, what the answer to that is block and delete.
Right. Yeah.
The end.
Dating has changed, and I think that's kind of what like sparked this whole episode and the questions and all that, because it's like, how have we gotten here? You know?
And how did we get here?
And it's the men, but it's also the women, because it's kind of like what you said. It's like what we're accepting and how we're responding to them. So that's what's perpetuating this dating culture of men wanting princess treatment, and we're not standing for it anymore.
Yeah, it's like the meme where the girl is like behind the guy.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
they want princess treatment. They want to be protected by their woman.
If a man wants to like get fucked from behind, like that's what's happening.
That's fine, but you've come to the wrong place.
Right, exactly. If that's what you're willing to do, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But think about that. I know that's a little raw, but remember, we're raw and uncensored. But think about that, and it's like, okay, that's the same as calling and texting a man first and getting no response, right, or allowing somebody's dusty son with inconsistent energy to access you.
Right. Okay. Now, what are some questions, like, say you're on a date with someone for the first time, what are you going to ask them day one? What do you need to know right away?
Do you have a wife? Do you live with somebody that is your wife? Or
has your divorce been finalized?
Yes. Does anybody think that they're in a relationship with you?
That's number one. Important.
Do you take care of your children?
Okay. Right.
Off the bat.
Yeah.
Those are like the most important ones.
And now don't forget, we have Google. So if you need someone to look up someone very quickly, you can call me, because I'm basically FBI at this point.
Yeah, I mean, both of us.
Yeah.
We both have our ways.
Yeah.
But also remember, part of this is trusting your intuition.
Right.
If you're on a first date with a guy, for me, it's more about the vibe. So it's not necessarily that you have to like ask a questionnaire.
Okay.
But engage in a conversation. Bring something up like this. So think of like a story in your head, right? Like if you're like, okay, is this guy in your mind? You're like, is this guy a cheater? It's okay, think of a story that you know and like say, oh, my friends, this happened with my friends. Like, so she was dating this guy and then this girl called her or messaged her on social media.
Okay, is that still happening?
I don't know, but I'm sure.
That used to be happening. I mean, that always used to be happening.
But like give him a scenario.
Okay.
And like throw it out. And instead of asking, like, are you a cheater? Do you cheat, sir?
You might say yes.
Right. Like you can't do that, because do you really want the answer? Either the answer is going to not like, no yes or no questions. Again, I really think it's about conversating in an organic way. So again, bring up something like that with the friend and somebody else messaging her, the guy was cheating, whatever. And just say like, wow, can you believe that? Like, people are weird, and see how he responds.
Okay, that's a good one.
See how he responds. Like, either he's going to be like, well, you know, like that. Just see how he responds, right? This can go one of two ways. It's either going to be like, yes, this man he has empathy. This man gets that that's not what we do. Or this man is disconnected and he's going to have a left field answer, and you're going to know that he's a cheater.
Right.
Or that he thinks that that's acceptable in some way.
And okay, and then also what you said about like the messaging, because I remember I used to go through that when I was dating. And listen, there are girls that are crazy out there, that maybe a crazy ex or whatever. But if you're getting those types of messages, it's usually for a reason, and that in itself is a red flag, because they probably either did something terrible to that girl or her friends. Yes, clearly they don't have a lot of time on their hands, but it's just something that you should recognize, like, is this the kind of person that I want to be getting involved with, that has this type of baggage of this crazy group of scorned females behind him? No, you don't. And these are things like that you usually get right away. That's a good exit point, because we don't want to carry on for months and years of our lives investing in these dead-end situations with things that are not going anywhere. Right.
And 9 times out of 10, again, there are exceptions to the rule where like bitches are crazy. We know this. But 9 times out of 10, if there's a crazy ex, there's smoke, there's fire. Exactly. Where there was a situation where the guy did something crazy and she's hurt, which in that case, again, I saw this on Instagram the other day and I was dead, because it's true. So it's like, okay, so you're dating a guy, he leaves his wife for you, now your spot's open.
Right. You lose him how you find him.
Yeah, remember that.
Yes. Okay.
All right,
What's
next question. There's a question here. Why do these boys need validation? For example, asking someone for a date and then don't follow up. So this question was very interesting, and I actually got a male perspective.
Okay.
For this question, and the answer is men are programmed for the hunt and chase, or the chase and hunt.
And that's nothing new.
Nothing new. My response was, okay, so then you go on a date and he doesn't call you, he just doesn't like you. But again, the male perspective was the hunt and chase.
They don't want it to be too easy for them, and that is tale as old as time.
Yes.
They're simple in that way.
Yes. You never give, don't ever give a man, I hate to say it like this, but don't ever give a man full control. You don't ever give them the upper hand.
Ever.
Remember, you're the prize, right? We're the prize. You're the prize. So make sure that they know that. If they don't, then they can take a long walk off a short cliff.
Right. And if these men are coming through as if they are the prize looking for the princess treatment, just immediately no. And don't invest any more of your precious life into these kinds of guys, because no, they're not going to change. They're never going to change. That's something that you need to
And you know what we do? I feel like, we've since recovered, right?
Okay.
We're in remission now. It's like something happens that is a red flag. The guy tells you again, when you bring up the story, and the guy is like, yeah, well, I'm sure the girl was crazy that messaged you.
That's
right?
a red
Something
flag
like
in
that,
itself.
red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you're like, oh, okay, no problem. And then here you are again on date number 2 with the man that just told you that. So that is, again, you're gonna receive what you allow. So if you're allowing a man that has that perspective, or a perspective that is just like a concern to you or a red flag, then you knew he told you from the start. So draw boundaries, weed people out real quick. Okay. There was one more on here this was about, why does a man mute your story? The answer, because he's a bitch.
Did this happen to you?
No.
Oh my, okay.
Let me just tell you something. If anyone muted me, I wouldn't know, because I'm unbothered and I don't really give a fuck. If you mute me, you missed out.
Right. Okay, and then related to that, so one of my friends that's in the dating world, it's like she had this situationship with this guy, and then he sucks, but then he just continuously looks at her stories and sends her memes.
This happens more often than not. This is actually the world's mystery. Why a man will not message you, text you, blah, 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 but be the first one looking at your social media, your stories. He's a bitch. Right. That's the answer.
It's
bust the move.
Immature. Very immature.
And you don't want this person if that's what they do. It's like, what's the word? Like a keyboard warrior? Like somebody that no. Be upfront and be forthcoming.
Yeah. Okay, we're probably gonna have to edit some stuff here because there's some blanks. Do you live your life to do all this? Real life situations. Do we have any real life dating stories that we wanna?
All right, back to the love bombing versus intentional.
Okay.
I have a personal experience about this.
Okay.
And to back up my statement that I said about love bombing is just somebody doing things with no intention of getting to know you, or no real intention at all besides getting attention themselves.
Right.
And to basically get you to fall in love with them so they could treat you however the fuck they want to treat you. Right. And do whatever they want. It's okay, so now that you're hook, line, and sinker, now I have control over you.
We don't let them get the upper hand.
No, never. So I recently just met somebody who's amazing. Things we're moving a little fast. He did all the right things, but in the meantime of that, very consistent calling me, FaceTiming, texting me, asking me about our podcast, listening to our podcast, and then saying something that almost let me know that he actually was listening to it, wants to know about my day. wants to spend time with me.
We love this.
We love this.
This is what we're accepting.
Did I get the flowers? Did I get the royal treatment? Yes, yes, yes to all those things. But that could have been love bombing if
the intention
the things that I just said, the intention, if that wasn't there.
Right. So I mean, I can't believe we even have to say this, but if we are accepting and continually accepting the bare minimum, that person that you were in the situationship with, it's never going to be more than the situationship. If nobody knows that you're dating, if they don't have an interest in doing anything but seeing you late night.
If they don't follow you on Instagram.
Right. I mean,
you're never going to marry this person's never going to marry.
They're not going to change if they don't want anyone to know that you even know each other. This is
it's funny, but it's not. Like, this is what some women accept. And like, no judgment at all. Like, we've all, trust and believe. That's why we're here. Yeah. We've been in we've been through the weeds. Yeah. We've been in very sticky situations.
Right. So we can only learn from them. But just if that person has been behaving in this way, that person is never going to change. You're not getting married. They're never going to become the person that you want to be. So if you've been doing it for weeks, months, years, just end it now. Because also, like we have talked about in previous podcasts, if you have that person in that spot in your life, you're taking up space for the person that should be coming in. So just hanging on to these situationships, we're lowering our vibration, and it's not going to, like, your Prince in Shining Armor, what is it?
Knight in Shining Armor
is not going to just come through when you're still hanging on to this bullshit.
He can't get through. There's dense fog.
Yes.
With this situation shit, because that's what I like to call it. There's dense fog, and he can't find his way.
Yes. So
make the space.
That's the first thing. If you this sounds like you, that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just end it, because it's not going anywhere, and we are not getting any younger. Okay. So that's it. I think that's our good advice for today.
That's it. We're going to leave you with this. No desperate energy. You are the prize. Remember that, right? Yeah. You're the prize. If somebody does one little thing that you don't like, and again, nobody's perfect. It's not about that. But if somebody does something weird and you can't communicate, they're confusing. Again, it has nothing to do with you. Nothing. This person is confused. People project. Again, it's like men, it's like that's the part that we miss. It's like men have trauma too. Men can't process it. Like women, we can move forward. Men get stuck in that forever.
But we are not doctors.
We're not doctors. We're not the martyr. We're not Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
We're not Captain Save-A-Ho. They have to heal and figure it out and come correct when they are ready. It's all about divine timing. Somebody said to me once that men marry who's around when they feel like they want to get married. And I've never heard anything more accurate.
Yeah. I mean, not saying I'm not in love with my husband, and I know that he's in love with me. And obviously he was like, we're done since, he met me. He was look no further. But I mean, in reality, if you look around, I mean, how many people got married when they were 30? Specifically at that age, and like you're like, these people are getting married, and it's like that's who they were dating at the time.
Exactly.
And get married.
That theory, so to speak, it just continues to like prove it. Like correct. That theory gets proven correct in many instances.
I'm sure men would even probably agree with it. So we need to find someone who is already healed on their own.
And knows what they want, can deliver.
Yes, and specifically looking for what you have to offer and not just a situationship.
Yes. All right. Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. We had so much fun planning and reading your questions. And stay tuned for part 2. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at YourPsychicBestiesPod.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
For listening to Your Psychic Besties podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at YourPsychicBestiesPod and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Psychic Besties Podcast. Join us next time for more straightforward and uncensored spiritual guidance. Love, your hosts and besties, Allison and Alana.